Welcome to the Copeland Center for Wellness and Recovery's webinar on RAP for Everyday Lives. I am Matthew Federici, the Executive Director of the Copeland Center, and I'm very excited to announce today this webinar on RAP for Everyday Lives. This webinar has been made possible by the support of the Philadelphia Coordinated Healthcare Organization, and we'd like to give them special thanks for bringing this very important topic and webinar in partnership with us. Your speakers today are going to be Dina McFalls. Dina is currently the Director of Philadelphia Coordinated Healthcare, the healthcare quality unit serving the southeastern region of Pennsylvania. Over the last 4 years, Dina McFalls has been especially interested in working to improve service and support for people who have intellectual disabilities as well as mental health challenges. Dina has been the lead on a 4-year grant provided by the Pennsylvania Department of Disabilities Council. This work has led to the development of some very innovative strategies to support people and assist the two support systems in working together. She is a true pioneer. Through collaboration with the Institute for Recovery and Integration based in Philadelphia, she has brought peer specialist and recovery trainings to intellectual disabilities community in Pennsylvania. Also today, your speaker will be Gina Calhoun. Gina works with the Copeland Center for Wellness and Recovery as the National Director for Wellness and Recovery Education. Previously, she worked for the Institute for Recovery and Community Integration and the Office of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. She's a certified peer support specialist, advanced level RAP facilitator, and has had the opportunity to be a part of 23 certified peer specialist trainings, 7 certified peer specialist supervisor training, and over 50 RAP trainings around the country. Gina's unique experience centers around Harrisburg State Hospital. She used the services at Harrisburg State Hospital for several years before escaping to live on the streets. Gina came back to offer peer support during the closure of that state hospital, and in her position with the Institute for Recovery and Integration and the Commonwealth of PA, worked on the former grounds of the complex, bringing recovery, peer specialist, and RAP trainings across the state of Pennsylvania. Also, your speaker today will be Rachel. Rachel is a 25-year-old RAP enthusiast who used the RAP workbook for kids to develop her first wellness recovery action plan. She is currently assisting the Copeland Center to develop RAP for Everyday Lives. She offers her time to the Copeland Center because she wants to offer peer support to others who have unique learning styles. Thank you for all three of you presenting today. Without further ado, I'm going to pass this off to Dina McFalls.
Hi, everyone. Today we are going to introduce you to a new concept that ties right into the everyday lives philosophy that guides the services for people with developmental disabilities in Pennsylvania. Working with the Copeland Center, we have worked hard to try and combine the concepts that are presented in the RAP plan. The Wellness Recovery Action Plan, which is what RAP stands for, is a personal empowerment tool and a tool for self-advocacy. It is a way for people who have had difficulty in their life to participate in their own wellness. So today's session will help us to explain what a RAP is and how it relates to people with distinct learning styles and everyday lives. Next slide. So what can a RAP do for an individual with distinct learning styles as well as life challenges? A RAP plan can help any person with their own personal challenges, but for people with learning challenges, it can help a person to change the way they feel when they are very sad or unhappy, when they have pain physically or emotionally to deal with, when they hear voices or experience other symptoms of mental health challenges, when they're stressed by events in their life, or even when they are having a hard time enjoying their life. Next slide. So what exactly is a RAP? A RAP plan is written or illustrated through drawings or pictures that is created by each individual who is experiencing difficulty. Another person can help the individual to write, draw, or illustrate their plan, but the individual must tell the helper what to show or write in the plan. The RAP can be changed at any time the individual wants. but not just when the helper or family or team wants. It's up to the individual. Each person can decide who to share their plan with. This is a personal document. The RAP can create a way of life for each person who uses it. It provides enough detail to guide them through their everyday life. No one can tell an individual they must have a plan, and the RAP offers choice and control to each person who chooses to create one. Next slide. A RAP does not take the place of medicine that is working. It is important. Sorry, technical difficulty. There we go. It is important that the person continue to take medication if it is working. The RAP does not take the place of seeing a therapist or a doctor who the person might be working with. And a RAP can work with any of the other services a person may be receiving. The RAP is a tool to help people change their own lives. It is only one tool of many available for people with different learning styles and life challenges. Each tool should be carefully reviewed for a good match to individual needs. Next slide. So let's talk a little bit about each of the concepts in the RAP that empower self-advocacy, choice, and control. The first concept is wellness. Wellness means something different to each person depending on what they need to make themselves and their life happy. Wellness also means being able to enjoy life, having activities and people and supports in your life that bring happiness. Wellness is feeling good about yourself and your life. Wellness is not feeling sad, angry, or feeling not well all the time. Next slide. So recovery. Recovery is not an end goal, but it's a process to be worked on by each person. It is a journey to reach the best wellness each person can reach. Each person can work on feeling better every day. There are 5 ideas that can help each person to feel better each day. Gina and Rachel will talk about these in more detail a little later on. So the first concept that is really important in recovery is hope, and that's that things can and will get better. The second concept is personal responsibility. Each person can change how they feel and what they do. Each person can be empowered to take responsibility for their own behavior. Education. This means helping everyone to understand themselves better and their wellness better and what they need to do to help themselves live a healthy life. Self-advocacy, very important concept in the intellectual disabilities world, but it's also a part of RAP. RAP gives each person an opportunity to develop their own self-awareness and direct their own growth and recovery. And support. RAP gives each person a chance to clarify what supports they need and from whom. It helps them to get through the good times and the difficult times. Next slide. So action. What is meant by action in the RAP plan? Basically, these are the ideas that you put in there that help you to feel better about your life. Here are some examples of activities that a person might include in their plan to make themselves feel better. Listening to music, drawing, sewing, take a shower, take a walk, play with a pet, go to the movies, or talk with a friend. It's really very personal what things work for each person. Next slide. So in your RAP, it is a plan. In the RAP, when the RAP plan is written, drawn, or illustrated with pictures of what makes each person feel better and what the person will do when they do not feel well. The RAP has lists of things that help the person to feel better. That were the actions we just talked about. It also includes what the person needs to do when they do not feel well. It includes what the person wants if they are having a crisis. And it includes what to do after a crisis, or in the language of people with developmental disabilities, debriefing after a crisis. Next slide. So what is a good wellness recovery action plan? A good plan has all the detail the person wants to help them achieve their goals. It includes step-by-step actions created by the person to help them get to their stated goals. So basically, it covers all of the things that might happen in the person's life so that they can work towards a healthier life. And I'm going to turn it over to Gina and Rachel now.
Thanks, Dina. Next slide, Matthew. So why write a rap? The intended outcome of writing and using rap is to live an everyday life filled with hope, to begin taking personal responsibility for your own health and happiness, to educate yourself on yourself, and in knowing what you need and want to live a fulfilling life, to practice abdicating that outwardly to others. And by writing and using rap in your life, the hope is that you can build a strong support system. So we are going to take a closer look at these 5 intended outcomes of writing and using rap. Next slide, Matthew. So the first is hope. When the world is screaming at you, oh, just give up, it's hope that whispers, no, give it one more try. Hope is the belief that you can move towards wellness, that improvement is always possible. It's the belief that you can go after and reach your goals, and the belief that you can live a happy and productive life. So hope is a belief. And we actually have some neuroscientists studying the phenomena of belief. And this is what they are finding in fun terminology. They say our brain and our heart are connected, and that there's an electromagnetic field or an energy field around our heart. You can actually measure the energy of the heart. You go to the doctor and you get an EKG. And what they're finding is that when you have strong positive thoughts that are connected to strong positive emotionality, which creates a belief, and a belief that's sometimes so strong you can feel the passion and energy in your body. I am a Washington Redskins football fan, and when I actually believe that they might win a game, I'm starting to get passionate, and I'm actually cheering at the TV screen. So when I had that kind of belief, the electromagnetic field, or the energy field around my heart, it vibrates outwardly to connect with other energies in the room. So the Beach Boys had it going on. You can actually send good vibrations out to other people. So what does this mean for hope? An abundance of hope can give you lots of energy to take action steps forward. A tiny seed of hope, a tiny bit of belief that tomorrow can be better than today, a tiny belief in new possibilities for your life can give you enough energy to take one step forward. So that's hope. So Rachel, when you go through really hard times, what gives you the hope or the belief that things can get better?
God and love from my sister and family.
So your faith in God and your support system, yes. And Rachel, like many other people, really say that hope is knowing that people, like kites, are made to be lifted up. Next slide, Matthew. The next key intended outcome of writing and using rap in your life is personal responsibility. And we can simply break these words down. Personal responsibility. Having the ability to respond and make an individual, informed choice for your own wellness. We can't always control what other people do. We can't always control events and circumstances in our life. And we sometimes can't control those feelings that start to bubble up inside of us. But what we can control is how we respond. So personal responsibility is not a burden, it's a blessing. And this becomes clear when we understand that personal responsibility is the freedom to create our own lives. So Rachel, what are 2 ways you take personal responsibility for your health and wellness?
Brush my hair, brush my teeth, and make sure I am clean every day.
Very nice. Brush hair, teeth, and make sure you're clean. Great answers, Rachel. Next slide, Matthew. The next key intended outcome of rating and using RAP is education. And a lot of times when we think of education, we think of school and academics. In RAP, we broaden that definition. Education is learning all you can about yourself so you can make wise decisions about how you want to live your life. And this includes seeking more information about how you can improve your life and recognizing the action steps you want to take to achieve your goals. So one way I can improve my life is I really need a new car. I have a job that I travel a lot, and I want to ensure that I get from point A to point B. So I have enough money to start looking for a car. So I'm thinking to myself, that's great. I want a yellow, bubbly car. That's the kind of car I want. My supporters encouraged me to do a little bit of research. And as I'm doing research on cars, I'm finding out that while the color and the style of a car, they're important, I also might want to consider frequency repair, reliability, miles per the gallon, safety. So by the time I actually go out to get that car, I'm going to be able to make an informed choice because I've educated myself. So Rachel, I have 3 questions for you. The first one is, how did you learn that swimming makes you feel good?
When I took swimming lesson when I was just a little girl, I am a good swimmer now, so.
Yes, you are a very good swimmer. So it makes you feel good because you're good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. How about the second question? How did you learn that having family with you is very important to your life?
I love my family because I hear them out and I do who I say I'm going to do. I am also a people person. I'm a little.
You are a people person, and you like having people around you.
I have a big heart.
You have a big heart. That's right. All right. Now, here's the hard question. What is one thing that you want to learn how to do? What is one of your goals?
I want to be a teacher for science school for children, for all ages, because some people need that to be good, and so.
So follow-up question. So you want to be a teacher for little children. Are you doing anything right now to take steps towards that goal? Are you watching any little kids now?
In September, I am going to help a friend of mine from church. She has nursery downstairs, and she asked me if I could come a commitment to her to help.
Oh, so in September you're going to take your first step towards that goal and help teach Sunday school. Excellent. Matthew, next slide, please. The next key intended outcome of rating and using RAP in your life is self-advocacy. So once you have set out to achieve something new and exciting for your life, once you have learned all the steps needed to reach your goal. Self-advocacy means going for it with courage, persistence, and determination. Expressing yourself clearly and calmly and with respect until you get what you need for yourself. So one area that I learned it was very important for people that learn differently and have developmental distinctions, one area where they have the opportunity to speak up and say, this is what I need, is at their individual service plans. Next slide, Matthew. The last key intended outcome of writing and using RAP in your life is support. And Rachel jumped up and down and she said, this is my favorite part of all of RAP, is knowing that I can support people and people will support me. So she's going to help me with this slide. The first bullet point says, support from family, friends, and care providers is essential for well-being.
Support involves being a part of a community, having feeling and contact, connectedness, and building craftsmanship as you move toward your hope and dream.
Yeah, so support is about having a sense of belonging and being part of something and being connected to others. Very nice, Rachel. Next slide, Matthew. So, if you are considering developing a RAP for your everyday life, I want to remind you of something that Dina said. The only person that can write your RAP is you. You choose if you want to do it, which parts you want to do and which parts you don't want to do, who, if anyone, supports you to write your RAP, how much time it takes you, and who you share it with. This is your plan for your life. So if you're still considering, hey, this is something that might be really helpful for me, let's take a look at RAP for Everyday Lives. Next slide, Matthew. There are 7 parts to RAP for Everyday Lives. We begin by developing a wellness toolbox. Part 2 is when I'm feeling really good. Part 3 are the things I need to do every single day to keep feeling really good. Part 4 are the things I need or want to do sometimes. Part 5 is identifying your triggers and developing an action plan. Part 6 is identifying your early warning signs and developing an action plan. And part 7 is when I feel really awful and things are breaking down in my life, and developing an action plan to try to get yourself back to wellness. So Rachel and I, this is how we were able to build Rachel's RAP. We got a 3-ring binder, some notebook paper, some pictures, and some dividers, and we developed her RAP in a notebook. And she brought her notebook with her today, and she is going to offer some of the examples she wrote down in her notebook as we go through RAP. Next slide, Matthew. So, RAP begins with the Wellness Toolbox. If you're doing this in a binder, on the first sheet of lined paper, you're going to begin a RAP by making a list of your wellness tools. These are all the things you do or can do to keep yourself happy and healthy. And many of these things are simple, safe, inexpensive, and free. So Rachel, let's get in your RAP. In your wellness toolbox, what are some things you do to stay healthy and speak nice and loud?
I love veggies. I go to a doctor each time. Get a lot of exercise. When you exercise and make you healthy. I love running and jumping and hopping. And another thing to keep you healthy, eat 3 meals every day, don't just eat.
Oh, I love this one. Get exercise. Running, jumping, and hopping. That's a good one, Rachel. All right. What are some things in your wellness toolbox that make you happy? Nice and loud.
Soccer, actually at church. I shop until Gina drops on the floor.
Yes, you do.
I go with my sister to art. There is a art club in Franklin County, in my county. I am going to a place called The Ark. And it's for all special needs children and adults. And I am doing it every other Thursday in 7 to 8:30. So come on out, and if you are from Greencastle or Chamber, come on out. We are happy to have you.
All right, so I hear the Fulton County Ark is the place to be on Thursdays. All right. So next slide, Matthew. So you want to think of as many wellness tools as you can, because this brainstorm list will help you create the rest of your wellness recovery action plan. Next slide, Matthew. So part 2 of WRAP for Everyday Lives is when I'm feeling really good. So if you're developing this in a notebook, after your wellness toolbox, you're going to turn to a blank sheet of lined paper, and at the top you're going to write when I'm feeling really good, and then you are going to make a list of words that describe you when you're having a great day. So Rachel, what are some words that you use to describe yourself when you're having a great day?
I'm happy. I smile. I sing a song. I love my family, my friends and family.
All right. So you love better. You're in that singing mode. You're smiling and you're happy. Those are great. So when I was developing this PowerPoint, I thought, you know what? If we're writing WRAP for Everyday Lives for people that learn uniquely, I need some experts by experience, lots of people that learn in unique ways to help me develop the examples on the slides. So Rachel and 3 friends helped out, and these are some of their examples. And Rachel's going to read them for us nice and loud.
Stressful, having fun, smiling. I have courage. I have love. I feel love. I have joy in my heart. I am strong, and I am free.
Excellent. And I'm looking at this list, and I'm thinking of my own WRAP, and I'm thinking, you know what? When I'm feeling well, when I'm feeling good, I also am feeling productive and successful. And I don't have that word in my list, so I think I'm going to add it. And that's the neat thing about WRAP groups. When people with similar life experiences or people with similar styles of learning get together in a group setting, the learning actually comes as they are brainstorming with each other. Because someone will give an answer and someone else will say, oh, you know what? When I'm feeling good, I feel love too. I'm going to write that down. So that's the great thing about the evidence-based practice of WRAP, is that group experience. Next slide, Matthew. Part 3 of WRAP for Everyday Lives is really writing down the things you need to do every day to keep feeling good, to keep feeling like you just described in part 2. And one of the things to be mindful of is, since you will be doing these things every day, and as I described every day to Rachel, I went through, you're going to do these things Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, it might be helpful to make this list doable, one you're able to do in a day's time. So Rachel, in your WRAP, What do you need to do every single day to stay healthy?
Eat my lunch and dinner and breakfast. Get good night's sleep.
All right. Is there anything in your list that you need to do every day to stay happy?
Talk to Gina on the phone, even if I have to keep trying to get a hold of her.
Oh, yes, you are determined. That's self-determination there.
Talk to Mom and Dad every day and love my support.
Yes, and every day you like to connect with one or two of your supporters. That's great.
Laura.
Or Laura, yes. Laura's supporting you today, isn't she? Next slide, Matthew. So these are some examples from the 3 friends that helped me with this PowerPoint. Rachel, would you like to read these examples?
Brush my teeth 3 times a day. Wash my hands often and protect colds and flu. And take my vitamins.
Yeah, that's a good one. Wash my hands often so I can prevent the cold and the flu.
And stay healthy, too.
And stay healthy, yes. Next slide, Matthew. Part 4 of Wrap for Everyday Lives is you are going to write down what we call the occasional extras, the things you need to do or might want to do sometimes. So you're not going to do them every day, but if you do them every once in a while, it will keep you happy and healthy and as well as possible. So Rachel, what are some things you need or want to do once a month, once a week, or perhaps once a year?
Well,
Oh, you got lots on this list.
I have some.
You can tell a story.
Every Wednesday in each month, on Wednesday to 6:30 to 7:30, I had a special blessing class I go every year. It's called Special Blessing Class. It's called the church called Honor by Loving Church. If you got any special needs kids, please contact me or Cindy Law. My youth leader name is Cindy Lawley. And we are happy to have them if you want.
All right, so we're going to get Rachel a job as the Director of Marketing. All right, what else do you need to do once a week, once a month, or once a year to stay healthy and happy?
I go with my sister Laura. She again, there is our program. Please invite your children to come, even if they are from PA. Please come to it.
Okay, how about doing this one?
I play softball now. I usher with my dad when he's there. I go to a seagull and we went on vacation, me and my brother and sister fed with seagull and had a wonderful time. And
as you can imagine, this was Rachel's favorite part of Wrap, just thinking about the things she wants to do, the things she doesn't get to do often but are going to make her feel good. And it was also Julie, Brenda's, and Nikki's favorite part of Wrap, so they have lots of examples as well. Next slide, Matthew. So here are some examples from the 3 friends that helped us out. Rachel, would you like to read these examples?
Going fishing with my family and friends. Go shopping at the mall until my friends go off. Doing my laundry. Clean my bedroom. That one. Taking a walk at the site in the pool or make a plan for vacation.
So Rachel, when she looked at the one that said cleaning my bedroom, she says, ugh, That's not something I want to do sometimes, but that's something I need to do sometimes.
And my mom made.
There you go. Next slide, Matthew. So if you notice, the first 4 parts of WRAP for Everyday Lives are really focused on wellness, on health, and happiness. And Mary Ellen intentionally wanted the first part to be focused on wellness, health, and happiness to really get us in the mindset of thinking about what's strong and out of the mindset of thinking about what's wrong. The last 3 parts of WRAP that we are going to go over is really saying, but sometimes in life, life throws you a curveball, and you want to have some type of action plan to move through that difficult time and stay as well as possible. So the next part of WRAP is triggers. Triggers are external events or circumstances that when they happen, they cause you to feel bigger or more intensely than you want to feel. The feelings are not the trigger. It's what's happening out in your relationships and your environments. So triggers are things that happen to you, that you hear about or you see happening to others, that cause you to feel angry, hurt, upset, anxious, afraid, or some other way you don't like feeling. Rachel chose for this section not to disclose her own triggers, but she volunteered to read the examples on the slides. So Rachel, nice and loud, what are 3 examples of triggers? Sure.
Being teased, not getting the job I'm here.
Okay, someone yelling at me, being teased, and not getting the job I applied for. So it's one thing to be able to identify your triggers. It's another thing to have an action plan to move through the triggers and stay as well as possible. Next slide, Matthew. So once you have a list of your triggers, it is important to take action so you feel better. So this is the question that I asked Brenda and Julie. I said, what are some wellness tools that will help you feel better when stressful events, also known as triggers, happen? So basically what Julie and Brenda did was they went back to their wellness toolbox and they said, given this trigger, here are some things I can do to help myself feel better, to take personal responsibility for my wellness. Rachel, would you like to read what Julie said?
Julie said, for example, when someone is yelling at me, I take action by asking them to talk with me quiet. I leave the room and take a walk, or I can call my supporter and tell them what happened.
I love that Julie was very astute. She recognized that with any given trigger, it's a good thing to have more than one action plan in case the first one doesn't work. Next slide, Matthew. So one of the things I said when Rachel and I began our part of the presentation together was that the only person that can write Rachel's WRAP is Rachel. And she chooses, if she wants to write it, which part she wants to do and which part she doesn't want to do, and who supports her in writing her WRAP for an everyday life. Early warning signs was Rachel's toughest section, and she chose her mother to support her in writing early warning signs. So I'm actually going to turn it over to Jean.
The next part of WRAP is early warning signs. Sometimes you may feel badly and you don't know why. These bad feelings may creep up on you. It is important to take action to help yourself feel better so things do not get worse. Some examples of early warning signs include feeling tired all the time, interrupting others when it is their turn to talk, getting angry for no reason. Rachel, can you tell me what some of your early warning signs are when these things happen to you?
I get tired and exhausted.
And what else?
And I have a lot of issues.
Yeah, she gets a lot of belly aches, and she gets a lot of headaches, and she likes to flick her hair. Those are 3 warning signs that she definitely has. And as a mother, I notice that, you know, it's definitely there. So when one of those start popping up, I know there's a problem.
Next slide, Matthew.
Early warning signs, action plans are, it is important to notice your early warning signs and take action so things don't get worse. Examples of what others have done when early warning signs creep up are, make sure I'm doing the things I said I would do every day to stay healthy and happy, talk with my friends about my feelings, and choose a wellness tool that will calm me down, like reading a book or drawing. Now, Rachel, when you get all upset and you need to do things that make you feel better, what do you usually do?
Which one of these do you usually do?
What do? You shop with Gina and Mom, or you call Gina on the phone and whine, correct?
Or go with,
Yeah.
Or go to the Ark with Laura. Nice. So you tap into your support system, right?
A lot, yes.
She's giving me a high five.
I'm so count on it.
You count on it. Nice. So next slide, Matthew.
When things are breaking down is the next part. Sometimes no matter what you do to make yourself feel better, nothing helps. During tough times like this, you may think that you will always feel badly. Don't give up. You can still take action to help yourself feel better and better. It's important to have friends and or family that can support you during this time. Think about how you feel and behave when you feel really awful. Some examples from others are,
I cry a lot. I attack people with my bad language, or I sit down at home.
Which one's yours,
what's
Rachel?
yours on there, Rachel?
The last one.
I can't sit still at all. That is correct.
I hate.
All right. Next slide, Matthew.
When things are really tough, you need to take quick and immediate action. Your plan may include people you can trust, you can help you, and that can help you through the tough times and support you to feel better. Some examples of action plans may be,
If I cry all the time, I can avoid my boyfriend or girlfriend to give me a hug and let me cry for a lot for 20 minutes, or take a walk with me. If I'm blabbing and raving using bad language, I would want my best friend to tell me when to do something fun with me and dance.
So Rachel, when you can't sit still, what are some fun things, some wellness tools you can do to help you settle down just a little bit?
My CD player.
Oh yeah,
She
your
listens
CD
to her
player.
CD player.
Nice, nice. Next slide, Matthew.
after a rough time, it's important to consider what you learned. Tough times can make you a stronger person. It's also important to thank the people who helped you through the tough time. And finally, it's important to get back to doing your daily wellness tools that help you stay happy and healthy. And as a mother, I'm going to interject something here that Gina didn't know about, but RAP for Kids was wonderful for Rachel, and we did it frequently. We would do it every 2 or 3 years. So I think this is a really, really good program to get started.
Thanks, Mom. Next slide. All right, Rachel saw the top of this slide, and it said, congratulations, and she's a natural cheerleader, so she wanted to do this slide.
Congratulations. You completed received the Wellness Recovery Action Plan, a guide to live a happier and healthier life. It's up to you to decide if you want to discover a and how you want to live your life every day. Rap is for everyday life workflow, can guide you and help you and get started on this great journey.
And one of the things that is not part of this presentation today, just because I haven't worked through the curriculum yet, is part of RAP for Everyday Lives includes a crisis plan and a post-crisis plan. And we hope to offer a specific training just on the crisis and post-crisis plan in the future. So I am actually going to turn it over to Matthew, who is going to encourage people for the next 15-20 minutes to ask Dina and I questions.
Okay, great presentation, Rachel, Dina, and Gina, and Gina's mother. Some questions are just about coming in. One question was from Amanda. Amanda says, by the way, Rachel, you and your sister are rock stars. Amanda's question is basically in supporting people with intellectual disabilities, what she does. Some people have great difficulty connecting with the materials or following the way the materials are laid out. Even using the RAP for kids books, she says they feel kind of highlights or advertises their differences. Do you have any suggestions for supporting people who are not connecting with the materials or books in a one-to-one fashion?
Well, one of the things is I'm working with my sister who works in the Office of Developmental Programs in Franklin and Fulton County, and we're working on some creative ways in which we can connect with people that have various learning styles. I know with Rachel really liked a lot of creativity. So for example, when we were taking a look at how you feel when you feel good, Rachel and I made a whole bunch of different masks. And one mask had a frown, one mask had an open mouth like somebody was surprised or yawning, one mask had a big smile, and we made a whole bunch of different masks. And then we expanded our vocabulary to really recognize that there are more than just 4 feelings. Because in Rachel's mind, she was thinking there's happy, sad, glad, and mad. But in learning that some feelings are surprise and anxious and feeling stupendous and successful, she could actually relate it to the mask. And then she could say, this is what I feel like when I feel good, and this is what I feel like when I'm not feeling so good emotionally. Dina, do you have any suggestions?
Well, I was just going to support what you said. I think it's about creativity and figuring out what will help each person to understand what is going on in their life. And I think this is going to be a totally different approach from the way people are used to planning, so it's going to take some real creativity to get the concepts across. And I like the idea of using pictures and other things like that to help people conceptualize what their feelings are.
And just one other thing for Amanda to consider. I know that the 4 individuals that I had the honor to work with and learn from, Rachel, Julie, Nikki, and Brenda, all 4 of them like the group experience. They like hanging around with other people and being in a group setting, but being able to talk about themselves in that group setting. So I also think a very small group of people that all learn with similar styles could be helpful.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Next question is from Tamaris. Tamaris asks if there are specific forms that can be used in supporting people.
We are hoping to work with Mary Ellen Copeland. It's in the very infancy stage to develop some type of workbook, much like the RAP workbook for kids. It's in the very infancy talk stage right now, and we want to ensure that Mary Ellen Copeland offers her blessing for this. And Matthew, maybe you could talk more about that.
Well, certainly there are a lot of forms that can be used when you become a RAP facilitator, and in the facilitator's manual there are adaptations and tools in there. I think that would be very helpful.
Matthew, can I add that there are people that I have worked with down here in the southeastern region who have used the forms and formats that are in the existing RAP planning documents and existing facilitators, and they have adapted them for each person. So did a lot of creative explaining, what does this mean, what does this mean. So for some people, the formats that exist may work. For others, we need to be more creative.
And my big sister, who's sitting right beside me, shaking her head yes to what you said, Dina.
Okay.
Great. Next question, Gina, is from Kathy. Kathy asks, does RAP need to be facilitated by professionals?
I think personally that people that are RAP facilitators and trained RAP facilitators are better able to uphold the values and ethics that really guide everything we do with RAP and the Wellness Recovery Action Plan. So from my own perspective, if you want to do RAP with fidelity, you will want to take the 5-day RAP facilitators training. And only because you learn so much about facilitating group process, but just as importantly, you learn about the values and ethics of RAP and how to translate those values and ethics into practical application in everything you do.
Great, thank you. And I'll just add that the RAP has become an evidence-based practice according to SAMHSA's Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration, and one of the key elements to the facilitation within that evidence base was the utilization of peers facilitating using personal examples. So more than being a professional, being a peer in the facilitation was a key element to the evidence-based practice. Next question is from...
One more thing, Matthew.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hold people back if they haven't yet become a RAP facilitator. So if you have not become a RAP facilitator and you're really connecting with someone with developmental distinctions or distinct ways of learning, I think that it would be okay to really start a conversation around wellness tools. What are some of the things that the person does or can do to keep themselves healthy and happy? I think it would be okay to start at least having a conversation around wellness tools.
Absolutely right. And many years ago, before I even had my own RAP plan and took a RAP course, I read the key concepts and found the key concepts as a great guide to supporting people. Next question is from Dee. Dee asks, with groups of people with developmental distinctions, intellectual developmental disabilities, is a smaller group of peers better to work with?
I've only had the honor to work with RAP and with people that have unique learning styles twice. One group was with 8 remarkable people, and one group was with 4. And it was much easier with 4 than 8, but that could have been me. I don't know if it was actually the people in the group process. It actually could have been me, so I'm not sure of the answer. Dina?
We have been doing training for individuals who have intellectual disabilities and mental health challenges, and we have found smaller groups works better. I don't know what the top limit would be. I think the most we've done together is 10. But I would think with RAP, when you're getting into some very personal things and people's feelings may come to the forefront, it might be better to have less and fewer people because you can really pay attention to each person. That would just be my gut feeling, my personal feeling from our experience.
And each person who learns in their own unique way will have lots of time to explore each part of RAP if there's less people.
Right.
Okay, thanks. And next question is from Aaron. Aaron asks, will there be training for behavioral health specialists on RAP for everyday lives? And P.S. Rachel, you did a great job.
Rachel is now hanging out with her brother-in-law, so she's not with us, but I will let her know that. I think Dina, Matthew, Mary Ellen, myself, and this small group of experts by experience, to include Rachel, really want to solidify the language in the curriculum before we go any further with it. But we are hoping, yes, we are hoping to expand across the world of developmental distinctions. And let me just explain very briefly why I'm using that terminology. I had the honor in Pennsylvania to be part of the Power to the People conference. And during that time, I found out that the new federal terminology was intellectual disabilities. And a group of people came to me and they said, you know what, Gina, I don't know that I like the word intellectual disabilities because I'm as smart as you are. And I'm thinking, yeah, in many areas you are as smart as I am. So I asked this group of people, well, what reference would you like us to use? And they got together and we explored a lot of different words, and finally they all unanimously agreed on developmental distinctions. So in honor of this group of people, I am going to use developmental distinctions. And so now I forget the question. Sorry, Matthew.
The question was, would there be training for behavioral specialists on RAP for Everyday Lives?
Yes, we're hoping in the future.
Okay, great. A question here from Carol is two-part. Is RAP for Everyday Lives available at Mary Ellen Copeland's online bookstore? And what are some other ideas, ways that people can support children and others to learn about RAP before they become a facilitator?
Okay, first of all, no, it is not. It is a brand new idea based on the advocacy of Dina McFalls and really wanting to expand RAP all over the world. So it's not available at the bookstore yet. And the second question, I am actually going to turn over to Dina.
Can you repeat the second part of the question, Matthew?
What are some other ways, prior to getting the facilitators training with RAP, that you can support people with intellectual developmental disabilities and children, etc., to learn about RAP and possibly use RAP?
Okay, there is a RAP product for children that I think you can get through the website, correct?
Yes.
For children.
Yes, it's a workbook for children. The other thing, I would just echo what Gina said, that it would probably be fine to sit down and start talking about what kind of wellness tools people can use every day or would like to see happen sometimes next week, once a month, that kind of thing. I think that's certainly a way to start until you have a RAP facilitator. I know we're going to be trying to get a RAP facilitator here in the Southeastern region specifically to work with people with intellectual disabilities and their families and their supporters. So I think you could certainly start with the wellness tools.
Yes, and I'm sorry, my brain's a little tired, but I also wanted to add that we will be doing a RAP facilitators training geared towards working with children and others with unique learning style. It's a pilot project, and we're going to do that at the end of September. But that is a facilitators training.
Okay, and we're approaching the an hour, but we have two more great questions. One is from another Amanda, and the question is there a RAP plan specifically for parents?
Matthew, why don't you answer that question?
Well, I'm a parent, and so yes, but many others that utilize RAP are parents and use it. As a parent, I have also worked with family members, siblings, spouses, and parents who are supporting people with mental health challenges to utilize the same structure of that you heard today of wellness tools and triggers and trigger action plans to be a healthier supporter and to live with those challenges and work through them as well. So it is definitely applicable. I would say that the RAP for parents that exists exist with many, many parents. And we will be doing a webinar in the future where people will be talking about how they utilize their RAP plans as a family supporter and a parent. Great question.
Thanks, Matthew.
Next question is from Dee, and I think this one is maybe directed at Dina, but anyone can answer. What are some unique challenges, myths, and stigmas placed on people with intellectual development disabilities versus what many of us experience with mental health stigmas and challenges?
Well, I think there's a couple of them. For a long time, until, say, 30 years ago, it was believed that people with intellectual disabilities could not have a mental health challenge. Now we are understanding more about what mental health challenges might look like. There are new publications out talking specifically about intellectual disabilities and mental health challenges. I think another thing that is a unique challenge is if people are going for services and supports and what is being presented looks like a behavior rather than a mental health challenge, often professionals may not recognize that there's something else going on. So I think that's a big challenge. And then finally, I think it's stigma. When we have talked to people who have intellectual disabilities and mental health challenges, often they are willing to recognize that they may have a mental health challenge, but they don't want to have intellectual disabilities. So I think there's kind of a double stigmatization there going on. Those would be the challenges that I see.
Great. Thank you very much. That concludes this webinar. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to listen to this important topic. Thanks to Gina, Rachel, and Dina for their wonderful presentation today and the work leading up to this presentation. And again, thank you to the Philadelphia Coordinated Healthcare for partnering with us to bring this topic to your attention. Want to also just invite people to the Wrap Around the World Conference, which will be in Oakland, California, January 25th through 27th. There'll be many, many diverse presentations available, as there were in the conference in Philadelphia back in 2011 on topics like this and many, many, many other ones. It's January 25th through 27th in Oakland, California, and we hope as many of you on the call today can join us there for an extraordinary experience. Thank you again, and have a wonderful day.